Good morning, hockey fans. Dan K, Lucas Jones, the Dan K Show. We've got undefeated teams aplenty in the Great Lakes. We've got a big-time Southeast upset. Big time. And we've got a lot of hockey to talk through. Dan K, Lucas Jones coming at you next. All right, hockey fans, a lot to talk through today, a lot to get through, so let's get right into it. Dan K's three things. Thing number one, it's great to be from the Great Lakes right now. We're going to talk about it today. The top three teams in the Great Lakes, all undefeated, a combined record. Let's see how good my math is off the top of my head of 25-0 to start the season. It is a big start out in the Great Lakes. Thing number two, and we're going to talk about it in just a second. There's a new broadcaster we're competing with now, Lucas Jones, and his name is Noah Farley, star hockey player for the Richmond Generals, now hopping over the boards and onto the microphone, and he just might be all natural, man. We're going to see this. This guy is so good. He's a natural at this thing. And thing number three, what could that thing be? It could be that upset that we teased in the open. And I will tell you what, Luke's going to have a lot to say about it because I think someone on this show was wrong. And it actually wasn't Lucas. It might have been me. Dan K, Lucas Jones. Lucas, my left-hand man, my consigliere, mon frere from another mayor. Welcome to the booth. And we have to talk about some competition in the industry.
We do have to talk about a little competition in the industry. I mean, it was a great weekend for Noah Farley in the broadcast booth. It was so much fun to watch. We love when other broadcasters, especially players, sometimes even assistant coaches, they're Johnny on the spot for the broadcast, right? They come up there and they go, "Hey, you give it a shot," and it's just so much fun to watch. It's so much fun to listen to. We're always down to showcase what you can do on the mic, especially because, we tend to go down to Richmond every season or so, a couple of times. We might just have to have this guy on the broadcast if he's not too busy scoring a whole bunch of goals.
That's the problem here. This is a guy who can play it, man. This is a guy who can score the puck. He can make the big pass. He makes the big hit. He's a leader for his team. And I'll tell you, now you look at it, this kid's 18 years old. A year 01, he's got over 30 goals, over 30 points, in his career with the Richmond Generals. And now he's got his younger brother joining the squad. This Farley family has Richmond Generals written all over them. They are so talented on the ice. It's going to be tough to pull them away from it. But I'll tell you what, Lucas, what a performance by Noah on the mic. The big thing that I noticed, so many people, they say they can do play-by-play, right? And you get those complaints. They go, "Oh, man, just talk about the game," or, "Oh, it's so easy. This is like an easy job." And then you get on the mic and you see that game start moving around, and it's like the Looney Tunes, right? The eyes popping out of your head, like, what is going on? How do I do this? And Noah did exactly what I tell every young broadcaster, every young play-by-play. What I told Lucas his first time behind the play-by-play mic in hockey. Slow the game down. Don't try to keep up with the game. You don't always have to be Dan K going a mile a minute speaking of every single thing. And the dust falls from the ceiling and the puck gets touched and it's passed and here comes a little more dust from the ceiling and the ice looks a little like you can just follow the game at your speed. And Noah did such a good job. It was such an understated performance. It was done correctly. There was a professionalism in it as well. This wasn't, how many times, Lucas, do you hear broadcasters get all homerism going on, right? And they jump on the mic and they're going after guys. And Noah, there was no homerism. He made a couple great calls on some penalties against the Richmond Generals where he agreed with the officiating crew. The boys aren't going to always love that, right? You're going to go back to the locker room and go, "What do you mean?" I was like, it's to call that game against your rival, the Hampton Roads Whalers, and do such a good job and be so professional. It just shows you mentally who Noah Farley is and just how well he understands not just the game of hockey, but just how to be a good person, man. And this kid knocked it out of the park. I'm going to give my rating. And for a new broadcaster, I would give him a 9.8 out of 10. New broadcaster. For a seasoned vet, I'd still give him an 8.3.
There you go.
I'd still give him an 8.3 there, Lucas, which is, think about that. He's ground floor right now. There's nowhere to go but up.
Yeah, it's super exciting, and he exactly, he did basically what I did when I started, and it was, you have to come in and you have to find your speed. You ramp up that speed, you get to a place you're comfortable, and then you live there, right? Because you want to be in a place where you're comfortable narrating the action instead of being uncomfortable, because people can hear that. And that's where how you get different broadcasters, right? Every broadcaster finds their wheelhouse at a different level of the game. There's no right, there's no wrong, there's only what sounds good. And speaking of what sounds good, let's roll to a couple of clips from Noah's broadcast.
6:36 remaining here in the third period. Face off to the right of Vaught. The puck will come to Krofchuk. And here comes Peterson coming up, and it is a 2-on-1 for the Whalers as the Generals get on the power play. Now the Bucks. There's Watson, he throws it. Bernstein will make the save as Krofchuk comes. Peterson breaks it up. Passing can't get there in front as Lukinic gets there. There's a Whaler down behind the Generals' net, but he's able to get up just fine. Here comes Krofchuk skating into the Whaler zone. He pulls up, he's looking for a pass, finds Knoll in front, and he scores!
Generals goal!
A power play goal for Owen Knoll! And the Generals lead 3-1. And the teams will line up here for the first face-off of this third period. Owen pops it forward and Correa picks it up. Burke is able to stay on sides there. Correa holds at the point. Goes over to Burke and a drive and a save by Vaught. Big stop there right off the bat. Generals are coming out flying. And we are going to skate 5-on-4 here now for the next 22 seconds. Here's Correa with a shot and he misses wide. And here's Watson coming out and he'll actually pass it to Correa instead of skating with it. And Colburn with a big block in front off a Correa shot. Correa still ends up with the puck, moves it to Cannon. Cannon looking, saved by Vaught, and Correa buries the rebound. Looking for their opportunities. Generals buzzing all on that 5-on-3, and Correa is finally able to bury it home and break the tie. And 1 minute into the third period, it is a 2-1 lead here for the Richmond Generals.
Generals managed to bury that one with 6 seconds left on the 5-on-4.
RC's has to be happy about that one, that his power play is finally able to convert after a long night of nothing. And now the Generals have momentum going their way for this period. They got 3 shots there in that first minute of the period.
Welcome back, folks. And now we're going to get into a little bit of a back and forth between Dan and myself. There's so many interesting things happening around the USPHL that we said, well, why not? Let's just pick our favorites and just kind of go for it. So I'm going to start things off here by talking about upsets galore this weekend. Everyone loves rooting for a favorite, but we love talking about the upsets. And the Carolina Junior Canes took it to the Charlotte Rush this weekend, sweeping them on the weekend, beating them 2-1 in the first game and winning an overtime battle 4-3 in the second game. 2 extremely, extremely close games. One on the strength of the Carolina Junior Canes defense. They muted that famous Charlotte Rush offense. And more importantly, Dan K., is your prediction in jeopardy?
My prediction is not in jeopardy, I wouldn't say, but what I would like to do, we've talked a lot of Charlotte Rush this year, and we nowhere near talked enough about this Carolina Junior Hurricanes team. And this was a weekend, we talk about it all the time. Like, you want us to talk about you more, you want to make your way up the power rankings. What do we say to do? Do it on the ice, right? And this is a team that not only did it on the ice, this is a team that we have been waxing poetic about the Richmond Elite depth, the Richmond Premier depth, the Hampton Roads Elite and Premier depth, the Charlotte Rush Elite and Premier depth, and the fact that these teams win on the fact that they're deep to start and they only get deeper with the way that they develop talent and build their team and work through the day in and day out, the ups and downs. And this Charlotte Rush team, you look at this roster, Jonathan Davenport is one of my favorite players on the planet. He's been one of my favorite players on the planet since he was in Atlanta. He just absolutely does his job day in and day out. TJ Raynon, Jacob Schnapp, Nick Constantino, Tanner Booth, Luke Babylon, Pete Giambattista, who's just nasty, Dylan Blue in net along with Jared Cable. These guys can play with anybody. Aiden McNabb, Daniel Now, they can play with anybody in the country, and they are going to wear teams out. And this is a situation where how do you win a close game against a deep team? With depth of your own and with continuing to be able to put nose to the grindstone and keep chopping wood, right? That's a Greg Schiano one. You probably feel like you're back in New Brunswick right now, Lucas. Chopping wood. You got to chop the wood to get things through. And that's what they're doing. They're chopping wood out in Carolina.
Yeah, and it goes to show you why this team always ends up showing up on our radar, especially middle of the season, end of the season. It's because they can win these close games. And I think that was one thing we even talked about in the power rankings, Dan, was that their goal differential is not high. But to a certain extent, that doesn't matter. All that is really an indication of their games are close. And if all your games are close and you have a winning record, you put 2 and 2 together, and that's an ability to win close games, which is what every single game at USPHL Nationals in. Winning these 2 one-goal games against the Charlotte Rush of all teams is a huge indication of the mental toughness, the ability of the Carolina Junior Canes to be able to win games. You got to give it up to Dylan Blue, the defenseman, with 2 goals, Daniel Now with a goal, and Aiden McNabb, the centerman, with 2 assists, and David Blue as well. 39 saves on 42 shots against the Charlotte Rush. That's tenacity. That is the stick-to-itiveness that I think will serve them well going through the rest of the season.
Yeah, and the amount of times that we hear from coaches, you heard it from Tim Kirkostas last year with his premier side with the Islanders Hockey Club. They want to see, winning teams want to see themselves go through adversity, right? And you want to see how you react, not always when you're up 8-0 and things are going well and you're thumping opponents, but what happens when you're down 2-1, 3 minutes left in a game? How do you bounce back? How do you fight back into it? Because come playoff time, every game's close. You know, you're not playing these 8-0. Like maybe once in a while, maybe you catch a team on the wrong day. Maybe they don't wake up in time for the puck drop. But 99% of the time, you're playing 1-goal games, close till the finish, battling till the end. And in this case, I mean, it's a Carolina Junior Canes team that's going to have no problem with it. And speaking of no problems, Lucas, and speaking of the word no, we go to the Great Lakes division because it is goose egg city when it comes to the loss column. You have 3 teams atop the Great Lakes right now who are a combined 25-0. Only one of those wins coming in a shootout. So 24-0, 24 regulation wins. This is insane. These teams are insane. The Toledo Cherokee, the Pittsburgh Vengeance, the Metro Jets, the goal differentials, 35+ for Toledo, plus 25 for Pittsburgh, plus 34 for Metro. Metro's allowed 5 goals in 7 games. This is an insane division. This might be the one to watch.
I think it will be the one to watch. You've watched these teams, the Pittsburgh Vengeance, Toledo Cherokee, Metro Jets, were your best 3 teams for the majority of last season in that division. And they continue to be, I think, this year as well. And that it goes to show when you don't have any losses, you can't do any better than that, Dan. And I think what it comes down to is just this offensive and defensive attack, right? These are all balanced teams. They can go anywhere, they can play anybody, and they can be successful. The Toledo Cherokee especially, they've done well on the offensive side of the ice. They're certainly not afraid to rely on them when it comes time. They have a plus 35 goal differential, 59 goals for, 29 goals against. But let's talk about the defense of the Vengeance and the Jets. The Vengeance and the Jets defense in 15 combined games have allowed 14 combined goals. That is outrageous. The Metro Jets alone have allowed 5 goals in 7 games. So you try to extrapolate that over like a 30, 40 game season, you're talking about potentially letting in 25, 30, 35 goals total for an entirety of a USPHL season. That statistic is absolutely bonkers. And you talk about wanting to watch this division. The next 2 weekends, the Toledo Cherokee are playing the Metro Jets this upcoming weekend, Friday, October 23rd. And then Friday, October 30th and 31st, the Toledo Cherokee will be welcoming in the Pittsburgh Vengeance for a 2-game series. So things are about to start getting hot in the Great Lakes division. And normally we'd have trouble with these Great Lakes teams. But I think the Great Lakes Division is about to sort itself out for us over the next 2 weekends.
These guys got to call us up. I'm ready for a caravan tour here, Lucas. I'm ready to get in the car, bring the broadcasting equipment, and get out to these rinks and call these games. Because this Great Lakes Division, we've yet to be on site at a Great Lakes rink other than the Metro Jets for their combine there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get out there. Let's get out there. Call us up. Great Lakes Division, www.dankshow.com. Contact us there. Or Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Jump into the DMs. Message us however you want to do it. Get us out there. Let's go. Get the Dan K Show to the Great Lakes because this is going to be fun. There's a lot of good hockey out there, Lucas. And the last bit of hockey I want to talk about this week is one last upset. Because we've been talking upsets, right, Lucas?
Mm-hmm.
And how about the first place team in the Midwest West? The Dan K Show Power Rankings curse strikes again as the Minnesota Blue Ox sweep the Wisconsin Rapids River Kings. A 3-0 win, a 4-3 close one, and the Blue Ox sit atop the Midwest West. We said the Moose were great. We said the River Kings were great. We said that the Havoc were great. We can't wait to see them play. Talk. And meanwhile, the Minnesota Blue Ox are out here just beating everybody and being large and in charge in the Midwest West atop that mountain so difficult to climb early in the year. But this team is looking a lot more like that national semifinalist 2 years ago.
I have had just about enough with the Midwest West.
Get it together out there. Figure it out. One of you gets to be the good one. One of you.
We're about to go Rob Gronkowski with these Midwest West teams. We're going to lock them all in the basement, and whichever team comes out first, that's the one that gets to be on the power rankings. It's absolutely nuts. And the Minnesota Blue Ox are just the latest incarnation of what the Midwest West has to offer. The big-time sweep of the River Kings, they did it on the back of their defense. They're on a 4-game win streak. And one of my favorite teams, the Minnesota Moose, right there, they're trying to get a nice little streak going. The Hudson Havoc right now, 3-0-1 in their first 4 games. The Midwest West just continues to be this topsy-turvy land where no one wants to be in first, but everyone gets mad at us when they're not, like it's our fault somehow. And it's just so much fun to watch, and it's so much fun to try to dive in and figure out. And I'll be honest, Dan, I can't wait to get out to the Midwest this year.
Yeah, it's going to be one of a kind. Like, you look at the Rapids, and they come off of a 21-goal weekend, and then go in the Coon Rapids Ice Center there, and they lose 3-0. And they get a goose egg put in front of them. And now next week, guess what they have to do? I mean, not a lot of trouble. They just have to go next week now, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, play the Moose, Mullets, and Blue Ox. I mean, it's not a big deal, right? And you got also the Rochester Vipers on the back end of the weekend. You got a four-game weekend coming up for you. It's going to be incredible, man. That showcase out there in Minnesota is going to play a big role in a lot of what we see in the power rankings coming up in a few weeks. It's been fun, Lucas. It's been a really fun week. We got anything else for the folks before we head to the empty net?
I think we've got a little bit of video content for you in Block C. So tune into that, and then make sure you stay tuned for the empty net.
You are watching the Dan K Show. Everything USPHL, from the NCDC to the Premier and Elite Leagues. The Dan K Show with Dan K and Lucas Jones.
What's up, Dan K Show fans? I've got a pretty successful head coach in the square just next to me. I've got head coach Kenny Miller of the Toledo Cherokee. Coach, thank you for taking the time and joining us on the show today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, Lucas.
Well, it's hard to ignore what the Toledo Cherokee are doing out in the Great Lakes Division. A big cool 10-0 right now in that division. How has Toledo pulled it together this season? What's been the secret to the success?
There's a lot of things that have been going good for us. We obviously have some veterans that are kind of carrying the load, especially early in the year till our young guys kind of get their feet wet. And we've even had some young guys step up. And I just think we're playing, we're playing well as a team. We're getting timely goals. We're able to, our goals against are in good shape, and our goaltending's been good. So I think it's just a combination of a lot of things that have led to our early success.
Yeah, I mean, averaging 2.4 goals against per game would certainly help you win in almost any offensive situation. But then on the flip side of the ice, you guys had 59 goals for in 10 games. So the offense sort of speaks for itself. But talk about the defensive side and the goaltending. What's the defensive mentality you guys play? Is it offense first, keep the puck away from the net, or is it something where you don't mind teams coming into the zone?
Well, we're trying. I mean, we're trying to stick to our systems, playing in our own end. And if we can eliminate playing in there and get the puck and play on offense, we're going to have more success. So we don't want to play in our own end. We want to win one-on-one battles, gain possession of the puck, and get going on the offensive end. And we got some guys that can skate, and fortunately, our D men have been really good at winning those one-on-one battles and getting pucks up to our forwards who have been able to score a lot of goals so far.
Yeah, and we've certainly seen them. I know we've had more than a couple of Andrzej Dupal goals on our highlight reel. Bailey Bird, Zetstel Mazik. I mean, these are definitely the skaters that are making an impact so far. The one thing that I did notice was you have a couple of rookies in those top points on your roster on USPHL.com. How have the new guys melded with some of the veterans?
It's been good. I mean, we probably have 9 guys back from last year's team, and then we actually added 4 guys back from the team from 2 years ago that went away and played juniors elsewhere last year. So we have a good group of veteran guys, and our young guys have actually been able to step up and make some impact on a lot of the games, especially on our D corps. We don't have very many veteran defensemen back there. I think only 2. So the D men have the young guys have really had to step in and play right away, and we really like our D corps this year as far as top to bottom. It's probably the deepest we've had in probably 7 or 8 years when you go 1 through 8 back there.
And, now we have to look ahead a little bit because, your team is involved in some of the Dan K Show power rankings discussions this month. And then going into next month, you've got some banner games at the end of the month here. You've got 1 game against the Metro Jets and then 2 games at the very tail end of the month against the Pittsburgh Vengeance, the other top teams in your division. What's the prep like? Is it any different from any other games you've played so far? What are you expecting out of these matchups?
Well, I think our staff and Nick Signs especially spends a lot of time pre-scouting video and both for us and our opponent. And I mean, it's no secret. I mean, everybody's amped up for the next bit of our schedule just based on how we've started out. And when you start playing the teams like Metro and Pittsburgh, who have been the class of the division for years now, I mean, you put a little extra attention to your details in practice, and try and prepare the guys, but also let the guys know that that we're a good hockey team too, and we need to make sure that we're doing the things that it takes in order for us to try and have some success against those teams. But we know it's not going to be an easy task, and all we can do is just take it 1 game at a time. So our focus will be tomorrow night, and then play tomorrow night's game, and then we actually go to Worcester on Sunday, so we'll concentrate on that, and then next week we'll start worrying about Pittsburgh. But it's a big game for us, and especially for us, probably more so than Metro, because Metro, they're Metro. They win a lot of games every year, and like I said, they've been the class of the division, and we want to get ourselves to that level. So we're going to have to play our best hockey tomorrow night in order to come out with a win.
Yeah, absolutely. That Worcester team has been has had some success in their own right. They've been a tough opponent a number of times. And Coach, before I let you go here, to any prospective players who might be watching in the USPHL or any other leagues, why consider the Toledo Cherokee? Why should they come play for your organization?
I mean, I think there's several reasons. One, it's a really good facility we're in. We're the main tenant. We have all the amenities you need in order for a junior player. And then you look at Our first year in the USPHL, we won 12 games. Last year, we won 31. This year, we're on pace to, be around there or should be. And not only are we starting to win games as an organization, but we're moving guys on. We had 5 or 6 guys that we're going to play ACHA Division I hockey. We got a D3 commitment in Matt Gilbert, who's out in Maine right now. And then we also have Tyler Fox, who is an assistant captain with us, who's playing in the NCDC. So we have, we give the kids an opportunity to move on and go play at the next level. And I think we're doing a good job as an organization. And I mean, the Cherokee have been around over 30 years. So obviously, we know what we're doing when it comes to running an organization, and hopefully more kids, especially in the Ohio and Southeast Michigan area, you would want to just stay home and play junior hockey here in Toledo.
Hey, there's nothing better than playing hockey in your backyard. That's what the USPHL is about. That's why they have such a big footprint. There's a team out there for everybody, and that team might be the Toledo Cherokee. Coach, we'll be looking forward to these next couple games the rest of the season, and we're looking forward to seeing you come out east and come onto our turf a little bit out here come January, I believe.
Yeah, we'll be out in January for the winter showcase. So that's always a good trip for us, a lot of fun, and we always get to play some really good competition. So we're looking forward to it as well.
Coach, it's been a blast. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thanks, Lucas. Have a good day.
Welcome to the Empty Net. Welcome to our favorite portion of every show, the Empty Net, where we get to talk to you, the fan at home. And first of all, Lucas, the Tampa Bay Juniors scored about 1 billion goals this weekend, all right? And one of my favorite tweets they had was their 5th win in a row. They quoted a famous song in their tweet just saying, win, 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 win. Great job. That was a great quote, great use of pop culture to celebrate a victory. Big time out there for Tampa Bay. The Tampa Bay Juniors, I mean, how about being in the city of Tampa right now? You'll win the Stanley Cup, right? You don't have an NBA team, so you can't lose there. But you'll win the Stanley Cup. You then go to the World Series, right? Mm-hmm. You got a big series with the Dodgers starting now. You have Tom Brady show up to town, and he brings Rob Gronkowski and Leonard Fournette, and you got Mike Evans still, and you got Ndamukong Suh running after quarterbacks and screaming in the face of Aaron Rodgers, ruining Dan K's fantasy football week and making him cry. Which, by the way, empty net note, just because we can have some fun in the empty net, I broke the record, Lucas. I've been in a fantasy football league, folks, for we've had it for 8 years now, I think 7 years, and it's big. It's with the Friends group, and I broke a record. The worst week in the history of the league. I scored 46 points.
Oh my gosh.
46.
What's the average in that league?
The average is about 105. I lost 151 to 46. You want to talk about losing with grace? I don't.
You want to talk about losing with authority?
I am cutting everyone. We are starting from the ground up. We are rebuilding this foundation. What was that? If I could bag skate these guys, I would. DJ Shark, catch a football. Can you catch a football? Aaron Rodgers, what is happening? Why? Why you just took a seat? And then Devontae Adams, if you could stay on the field, Dalvin Cook, where'd you go? Alexander Madison comes in, and literally he ran as if Alexander Hamilton and James Madison were the running backs in the backfield for the Minnesota Vikings. Great leaders, very bad running backs in the NFL. What happened? But we'll get back to the empty net. I'm sorry about my diversion there. But we also look at, Lucas, the Rockets Hockey Club Elite, all right, because Todd Wagenbach reached out to us, and they are dominating right now. 11 goals up in their last game of the weekend. They're 6-0-1. They are really looking good. And we talked about this Rockets Hockey Club Elite side. I think this could be the year they finally get past that really tough Aviators squad who every year seems to put it together in the postseason and take it to them. I think they can get past them this year.
I think so too, Dan. I said it in the beginning, and I'll say it every week until it inevitably happens. The Rockets Elite squad will be in the championship game this year.
Meanwhile, on the other side of things, in the Premier with the Aviators, they beat the Rockets, and they look like they got out of the gates a little slow because, I mean, it's a brand new team. It's a brand new team. Coach Stanley's figuring it all out, putting the right pieces in the right places. But this team, I've watched them a few times. When they get going, they're really, really dangerous.
Yeah, it should be fun, and you know, as these teams keep playing, keep including us in your tweets. Include us in your game summary tweets, your goal tweets. Even if you're like the Tampa Bay Juniors and you're scoring 1,000 goals a game, keep including us. The more you tag us on Twitter, the more we can keep tabs on what's going on. Don't forget to tag us in your goals as well. If you post a top goal highlight to Twitter, tag the Dan K Show, and that makes it really easy to potentially include it in the top 5 goals of the week.
Do you want the Dan K Show to come to you? Reach out to the Dan K Show. That's at @the_Dan K Show. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at @the_Dan K Show, and let us know where we should go next. Also, get your social media hands ready because the Holiday Follow Challenge is coming up soon. Launching in November, we'll have our Holiday Follow Challenge back and better than ever, where you can vote to have us come to your rink. And can anyone ever beat the Richmond Generals? Because they are so darn good at it. The Wisconsin Rapids River Kings, they created the Cheese Curd Cup last year with their victory. Which cup will we bring? I will guarantee now that if somebody can dethrone the Richmond Generals or Wisconsin Rapids River Kings, if somebody new dethrones them, I will get a trophy and we will name it, and you will play for a trophy in the game we arrive for. We will create a rivalry game. If you are the Wisconsin Rapids River Kings, obviously the Cheese Curd Cup, that still continues. The Richmond Generals, I'll have to figure one out for you too. So we'll see. But my trophy guy, Lucas, is hot on the presses. He's out there making cups.
He knows it's trophy season for the Dan K Show. That's it.
That's exactly right. And with that, Lucas, I go to you. We had some awesome feedback this week. Alex Proctor with some great goaltending. We saw his father there posting some bids. We saw a bunch of cool stuff. I mean, with that, what's your parting words? Bye, Lucas. That's a cool picture. I like that little tree. When Dan K's on the mic, it's always hockey night. Keep watching, hockey fans.